I'd like for homeschoolers all around the world to reorient the work that they're doing to incorporate School of the West and the inoculation powers of Go Free for our white children. Because even though, and I gotta say this because I've been like Sarah's back with us, so I'll just hand it right back and we just keep it running. That we have too many people, far too many people, and I'll continue having this debate, I know, until the end of time, who think that, well, if we just get away from the, and then they'll throw, instead of saying anti-whites, they'll say the communists or the Marxists or the wokes brigade or whatever. If we just get away from these people, well, then everything will just be fine. It won't be fine. It won't be fine. This idea, and it's a similar idea to the concept from these antique nationalists that say, well, if you just remove this one little blockage, well, then everything is just perfect after that. You just remove this one little blockage and everything's fine. No, both of these scenarios presuppose that we had a system in place that made us into a single people with many nations. We did not. We will easily be undermined. And you saw, and you still see, and you continue to see the ways that we are undermined in places like South Africa and similar locales across the West, either larger or smaller. You see how we continue to be undermined because we do not have a psychological defense for the psychological warfare. So, I mean, I can be kind of blunt for everybody, I can do it all at once, for the Christians, for the pagans, for the atheists. I can try to say, it doesn't matter how many times you pray to Christ, you're still going to lose. It doesn't matter how many horns of mead you pour out, you're still going to lose. It doesn't matter how many times that you say, well, we're going to just approach everything rationally and ethically, and we'll just examine everything. You're still going to lose, because there is a poison crafted to defeat us, and we were defeated by it. So we're never getting out of this until we have that defense against the poison that's crafted for us. So when we have homeschooling, and I know there are probably some moms and dads out there who will hear this in replay or maybe even live, and they'll be thinking, well, no, I think if we just teach people to be good, if we just teach our kids to be good, if we just teach them, and everything will be fine. We don't have to add this other bit to it. It's not going to be fine. The West will continue in flames, heading toward the earth, until we are able to be out of that anti-white narrative and into the place where we write ourselves in as the heroes. And your children, quite frankly, you can have them home and you can teach them mathematics at home. You can teach them literature at home. You can tell them how wonderful European lore is at home. And then the moment they are exposed to anti-whiteism, that says everybody else in the world believes that the white people, Western kind, are evil, and that they're responsible for all of these institutions, and that of course, your parents said that European lore was great, and that's because it was handed down to them by evil people as well. Your children will succumb. Period. I've seen it for decades now. I've seen children raised in hardcore white positive or white sympathetic environments, and they turn against their parents. Hardcore. So if you do not, and there are some very public ones as well that ran off with lots of money. So it's the whole gamut of people who are unknown all the way up to people who are infamous now to us. But I can't stress enough, because I was just talking about, on PWR, I spent quite a long time responding to a gentleman who screwed up his life, jeopardized the welfare of his 4 children, because he spoke in a way that comported with some, I wouldn't necessarily say antique nationalist, but certainly speaking like the villain in the anti-white narrative. And now the anti-whites, of course, have slit his throat for it very easily. And who's suffering? Not just he and his wife, but children as well. And so we cannot have this anymore. This is the kind of thing that infuriates me. And I'm going to be passionate about it. Oh, well, I'm going to be passionate about it because I know what works. And I know that over all of these years, I wish I had been more pushy with other adults that said, oh, no, it's going to be okay with my kids if we don't teach them these inoculations. We just teach them the old ways. Bravo, Sierra. It's not going to be okay. So having said that, brand danger, School of the West, it's glorious. The first stage is to supplement homeschooling, and to do so, make that available to everybody on planet Earth. And of course, the dream long range, and I can inspire people a little bit. The dream long range is that we eventually have a physical school or schools where you have big marble statues and everything. And I can say that there's at least one investor with some money who might be interested in something like that in the future. And with that little bit of encouragement, I pass it back.